morning. Today we are going to discuss about the TDS section in Income Tax Act 2025. This is the newly enacted act from 1st April 2026 only onwards, and which is already implemented. And if you are deducting TDS, then you need to consider this video in advance for your TDS journey. So TDS, now the section from earlier was starting from 190. Now it is starting from 392, which is relating to the TDS on salary. And for other than salary, meaning thereby earlier you was filing 24Q, and now you have to there is a form is also changed for all of it. So we will come back with a new video for the forms types, what the forms have changed in the new Income Tax Act 2025, and what was earlier in Income Tax 1961. So we were starting with the section 393. Here it is saying that the sections are just converted into the table. They are just stating everything in the table, not in any specific interpretation sections, subsections. They have removed all the subsections and now only coming with the new tables only. So here what's saying here, it's the sum of nature is specified in column B. So you can see the table here and the column B, meaning thereby what the nature of income is credited or paid or distributed by portion is specified in column C, means payer. This is the portion what is the type of your who is making the payment. What is their type? Is any portion in HUF, in whatever family, company, or trust, AOP, a society? What is the nature? So you have to decide what is the nature. And during the tax year, and the new concept tax year has been arrived in taxpayer is meaning financial year, meaning that by earlier we are calling previous year. Now previous year will be the tax year only, and there is no concept of assessment year in this act. So you have to consider, suppose 26-27 tax year. So we what you have to do, we have to consider only 26 tax year 26-27 only, and no assessment year. And so this, and next is saying to a resident, meaning that if you are any some nature which is specified in column B, by the portion specified in column C is making payment during the tax period to a resident, then the person responsible for paying such income or sum shall deduct income tax on the entire amount of sum, which is where the aggregate amount of threshold aggregate of the such amount exceeds the threshold limits prescribed in column D, or sum as per note 1 for serial number 82, as the case may be. At the rate is specified in column D. A rate is also specified, threshold limit is also specified in column D only. At the time of credit of such income or the sum to the account of the payee, or at the time of its payment in cash or by way of check or draft or by another mode, whichever is earlier, and subject to the provision of subsection 4, 5, 6, 8 and 9. And we are moving towards the commission of brokerage. Any portion, any income by way of remuneration, reward, or by whatever name called otherwise, for soliciting, procuring, or insurance business, including business relating to the continuance, renewal or revival of insurance policies. Any portion, meaning there were any portion, if you are earning commission, then that commission would be now considered as a normal income. A rate in for the tax would be deducted at the rate applicable, means rate in force, meaning thereby is that the rate which is applicable for that particular commission, that is slab rate. Suppose your income is greater than more than 4 lakhs in the under new regime, new regime, then you have to deduct it, tax at the normal rate only, and not at the slab rate only. Means up to 4 lakhs there is no tax, up to next 4 lakh then 5%, and next 4 lakh there is a 10%. After that 4 lakhs there is a tax rate of 15%. So this way your tax would be calculated for deducting TDS. And after calculating the what the rate would come, would at that amount or rate would be considered for deducting TDS. And threshold limit has been kept for 20,000 only. And suppose any income, you are earning any commission or brokerage that is other than the insurance business, then your then portion is specified persons would be able to deduct TDS. And rate would be the 2%, and threshold limit would be 20,000. Means commission and brokerage would be 20,000 limit. Rent, any income by way of rent portion other than the specified portion, rate would be the 2%, and threshold limit would be 50,000 for a month or part of the month. For a month or part of a month. Any income by way of rent is specified portion, rate 2%, 2% for use of any machinery, plant or equipment, 10% for use of any land or building including factory building, or land opportunity to building including factory building, or furniture or fitting. Threshold limit for A and B, 50,000 for a month or part of the month. 50,000 for a month or part of the month. Note, in serial number 21, tax shall be deducted on such income at the time of credit of rent to the account of the pay, or payment thereof in cash or by way of check or draft or any other mode, whichever is earlier, for the last month of the tax year or the last month of the tenancy. Meaning thereby, if you are making any brand payment, then the time of payment of deducting TDS would be the credit of such sum to the account of the pay, or the payment thereof in cash or by way of check or draft or in the mode, whichever earlier, for the last month, for the last month of the tax year or the last month of the tenancy. Payment on transfer of certain immovable properties other than agricultural land. Any consideration for transfer of any immovable property other than the agricultural land portion, other than the portion who are required to deduct tax under serial number 33, rate would be 1% for consideration of transfer of immovable property or stamp duty value of such property, whichever is higher. Threshold limit is 15 lakh rupees as per note 3. And any consideration not being consideration in kind under agreement referred to in section 467 subsection 14, any portion, rate would be 10%. Threshold limit is nil. There is no that meaning there is no limit for deducting TDS, or you whole amount you have to deduct TDS at the rate of 10%. Any portion, any sum being in the nature of consideration or enhanced commission, or consideration or enhanced consideration on account of compulsory acquisition under any law for the timing in force of any immovable property other than agricultural land, any portion, rate is 10%. Threshold limit is 5 lakh. Consideration for transfer of any immovable property under serial number 31 shall be aggregate of the amounts paid or payable by all the transferee to the transferor, or all the transferor to a transfer for transfer of such immovable property for the purpose of threshold limit mentioned in column D. In case of consideration on which the provision of both serial number 31, 32 are applicable, tax shall be deducted under 32 only. For the purposes of serial number 33, the income tax shall be deducted where the consideration for transfer of any immovable property or the stamp duty value of such property is equal to or greater than 50 lakhs. Meaning thereby, for the purpose of deducting TDS of 1%, you have to consider the limit of 50 lakhs also. Income from capital market. Any income in respect of units of mutual fund is specified under Schedule 7, table serial number 2021. Any portion, rate to be 10%. Threshold limit is 10,000 units from the units from the administrator of the specified undertaking, or units from the specified company. Any distributed income referred to in section 223 being of the nature referred to in section schedule 5 or table serial number 3 or and 4 payable to a unit holder of business trust. Any business trust rate would be 10%. Threshold limit is nil. Any income other than that portion of the income which is exempt under schedule 5 table serial number 2 in respect of units of an investment funds specified in section 224 payable to its unit holder. Any investment fund is specified in section 224, rate would be 10%. Threshold limit is nil. Any income in respect of investment in a securitization trust is specified in section 221 to an investor. Any securitization trust is specified in section 221, rate would be 10%. Threshold limit is nil. Interest income, any income by way of interest on securities, any portion, rate in force, threshold limit is 10,000. Any income by way of interest other than interest on securities, a banking company or cooperative society in carrying on the business of banking or post office for deposit made under the scheme notified by the central government, rate in force, threshold limit 10 rupees or rupees 1 lakh in case of senior citizen, rupees 50,000 in case of person other than senior citizen. Any income being interest other than interest on securities is specified portions other than portion in serial number 5 to C, rate in force, threshold limit is 10,000. So we have considered till 5 points of these tedious sections, and we will come back with a new video for the same or for other sections. And if you want detailed video on the any particular section or particular item of this section, then we will come back with the new video on the same, and it will be more beneficial for you for your future also. And if you are learning income tax act and want to keep it on your fingerprints, then it will be great help for with this video. Thank you with this video.